No Jumper, coolest podcast in the world. And today I'm in here in the building with one of the internet's leading ladies. I think it would be safe to say.
Yeah?
Me and Malkova is in the building. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Excellent.
Which camera are you looking at?
You can just look at me, but if you really wanted to speak to the people, you could shout into that camera.
Sometimes. I'm very trained for the camera, so sometimes I do.
That's one thing about adult content girls is that they think about the content a lot more.
They know where the camera's at.
They know where the eyesight is supposed to be shooting at all times. Yeah, for sure. So it's great to have you in here. How would you describe where you're at in your life right now? Because I understand you've been going through a whole lot of changes, right?
Yeah. Wow. Okay. Yeah. You're jumping right into it.
I mean, I could do the whole okay, tell us what you were like when you were an embryo. Tell me what you were like when you were a year old. But
Who gives a shit?
Let's start right now.
Everything's really, really crazy for me right now. Everything is changing. So I've been in Portland for a couple of years, and I've been in a relationship for almost 5 years.
Okay.
And before that, I was only single for maybe 3 months, and I'd been married.
Yes, I heard to a performer.
Yes, to a performer. So I'm separating right now from my partner. We did break up, and I'm doing a lot of things. I'm moving back to LA. I'm pretty much woke up one day, I was like, everything has to change.
Because you did, there's two types of relationships that porn stars normally get into, which is male porn stars and then photographers.
Yes!
And it seems that you've done both now.
I've done both.
The one that you haven't done is a legitimate celebrity who's going to try to change you.
That's next.
That's next. Yeah, you got to find that. Wow. But okay, so have you when you got into the adult content game though, you didn't think that you were going to be the person who got into all these relationships or whatever? You just have a big old heart and you couldn't help it?
No, I guess I'm just a relationship person, a long-term relationship. No, I didn't think that. Really getting into the adult industry, I just wanted to have sex with everybody because I was a slut.
Right.
I just thought, oh, this sounds fun. And I was a bit of an exhibitionist and kind of wild. So I thought, oh, doing it for the camera, that's new, that's different and exciting.
Right.
But yeah, then I catch feelings. It always starts with great sex.
Yeah.
And I always think, oh, this is just great sex, but then the feelings come later.
Right. Are you the type of girl who wants or aspires to have a guy in your life that you can sleep with, you're cool, you're good friends, but doesn't get super romantic, but then it always still does get super romantic?
God, I would love to say yes, but I'm actually a hopeless romantic. So even though in my head I'm like, no, you want to be single for a long time. You need this. You've been in a relationship the last 9 years. Another part of me is like, but he's so cute. Yeah,
because we were having that conversation the other day, and this was kind of proposed. A girl was telling me that she had this guy, and she just wanted to be fuck buddies, and then it just never works, Yeah. And when I try to picture it, if I was single, and let's say me and you were just friends, and then at some point, we have sex either for content or just because we want to have fun, whatever, it's in my head, I should be able to have that kind of mature relationship. But then in reality, I think I would be lying to myself if I didn't admit that as soon as another guy comes in the picture, I'm going to start to feel threatened.
Yeah.
I'm going to fucking act out. I'm going to start trying to hold you down, whatever, which is, I'm assuming, what kind of happens with a lot of these things.
So are we saying friends with benefits doesn't work? Because I need friends with benefits. I'm in the market.
Maybe if the guy truly knows that he has no chance of ever being your boyfriend, exactly.
They do have a chance.
Because you're a lover.
Yeah. Fuck.
There's no chance.
Well, hopefully they just don't like the fact that I'm a porn star and they're like, no, I could never date you, but I will happily fuck you all the time.
See, that is the kind of guy that would hold you down for a while.
Yeah, those are the kind of guys I need.
But then you end up, but those kind of guys are not going to be serving you consistent dick. And if they do, it's going to come with a nice hefty side of disrespect and not giving a fuck about you and not actually being there for you the way that you probably want them to be. And then your womanly instincts are going to kick in and you're going to want to lock his ass down.
No, shut up.
It will. It so will. If the guy's really that high value, you're going to want to hold him down.
True.
Yeah. You know it, right?
100%. I'll never admit it. We're very sneaky about it.
As soon as some porn star with 10% of your following or whatever slides up in there and you start to see him treating her good, your brain, you're an animal just like everybody else. It's going to go off no, I don't want that. I want to be the one.
Also, I have a lot of options. So
I believe that.
Yeah, when it comes down to it, if someone doesn't show me interest and they don't like show me that they want me, I actually do lose interest. I'm attracted to people who are like obsessed with me.
Well, maybe that's why you haven't done the celebrity dating thing so much.
Yeah, if they're very aloof, like I can, I could take it or leave it. I'm like, well, that's no fun. You're not going to be great in bed.
Right.
You're not excited.
Hey, do you remember the first time that you were massively let down by some celebrity dick?
Yeah.
Because it's a thing, like I always have conversations with girls where they kind of admit, like, yeah, like I wanted to fuck this guy so bad, and then I did it, and I just realized like he doesn't give a shit. He's not gonna try.
Yeah. So obviously I'm not going to name names, but there was an actor who I was obsessed with growing up. He was like probably my top 5.
Wow.
And I've masturbated to him many, many, many times growing up because I've always been a masturbator.
Aren't we all?
Yeah, we all are. But I had, been going through my Twitter and looking at the verified people who follow me, and I noticed that he followed me. So I was like, holy shit. And I ended up going to the DMs, and he was a really big fan, and he wanted to meet up, and he was so cute, and we got along really, really well, but he was really tired, and he was actually really shy and nervous, and he couldn't get it up.
Oh.
And so nothing really ended up happening, and I slept over, and we still had a great time, but I never heard from him again, and I still wanted to fuck him and try again, because I really wanted to seal the deal, but I just didn't feel like I should be the one to reach out first, considering the situation, and he just never reached out to me again, so I just missed out on that opportunity.
And so you bought this whole tired thing that he told you about why you couldn't get hard?
He was definitely tired,
Okay.
But nervous too. He was 100% nervous. I think some people, it really is a big deal with a porn star, because they expect us to be really experienced, and we're worried that they have to perform to some impossible standard.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of non-porn industry people really watch a shitload of porn.
Yes.
And really think about it. Think about my dick is 4 inches and pasty, and this guy has a 12-inch fucking monster bra. And that really that's got to put a lot of pressure on him. I'm right up front to a lot of the porn stuff, so I don't really ever feel that way. If I have a hard time getting a boner in a scene or whatever, it's I know this girl has done this 100 times.
Yeah, and I get it. It doesn't bother me, because it's a human body. Women, we're easy. We can fake it. We can use lube. A guy can't fake it. If he's not feeling well, if he's tired, if he gets too inside of his head, then it really does happen. I'm very understanding.
But you see, this is why people fuck with you, is because you seem very nice and understanding, whereas a lot of women would literally come on this podcast and be like, he's a piece of shit, fuck him, he couldn't get hard. That's the whole new wave, city girls attitude.
That's fucked up.
He didn't buy me a Birkin bag, so he can't even touch my ass.
What? No,
that kind of thing. You're not that
terrible.
kind of
girl. No. No, not at all.
For sure. But yeah, I mean, that must suck though. Okay, do you feel like that comes with you when you do decide that you want to date somebody? Is it hard to get them to forget about the porn side of you? I mean, when we're talking about the 2 guys you've dated, one was an actor and one was a photographer, so they know the porn game, presumably.
Yeah,
right?
and even the photographer, he had directed for Blacked Raw, Vixen. Right. He was very much involved with everything. And then the porn actor, I dare say he was a sex addict. So I was dick down literally every day for the entire time of the relationship.
Satisfactory? It was
very satisfactory.
That was never a pain in the ass?
The sex was never an issue.
Okay.
It was actually too much sex. That was the issue. I was exhausted.
Wow.
But as far as dating, I haven't had an opportunity to date a lot of people because I've been locked down. I've been in somewhat of an open relationship, but I'm actually quite picky, and I've lived in Portland, so I haven't really explored it too much.
Open relationship, mostly with other porn actors, or just in general, you could meet a guy and it's all good?
In general, I can meet a guy, but like I said, I'm picky, so it's typically an actor or somebody like that I really want to see and it's kind of worth my while, if that makes sense.
What did you like so much about living in Portland?
The nature.
Oh, okay.
I love the nature. So I've always loved hiking and camping, and that's been one of my favorite things. And Portland is just so unbelievably beautiful, with hot springs and waterfalls and old growth forests, and yeah, I really love it, but I'm bored as fuck, and I can't wait to come back to LA.
So how long did you actually live here?
LA?
Yeah.
Maybe 7 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So you were ready to get the fuck out.
Well, I've been in Portland for 3, I think.
Okay.
So I'm ready to get the fuck out.
And now you're ready to get the fuck back.
Yeah, I'm coming back.
It really is that kind of thing, right?
Yeah.
Like there's so much fake shit here, but then you leave and it's like,
what do I do with my life?
It wasn't that bad.
It wasn't that bad.
It was fake, but it was beneficial to me in my career.
Yeah,
you know?
I was so excited to leave LA to begin with, and now I'm so excited to come back.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, because I mean, living in Portland as a person who's in a relationship or even just moving away in general probably seems kind of attractive. But then once you're single, it's kind of like, well,
what am I going to do up there?
I want to be around people that might be considered eligible for dating me.
Yes.
And I mean, you talk about actors immediately when you talk about your type. So, Portland's going to have a lot less celebrities, right?
True.
But what is that?
If you're an actor and you're attractive, slide in my DM.
Is that just you wanting to fuck important people because you're newly single and it seems fun, or is that your overall type? Like you feel like you need to be with a famous person?
No. What happens is I'm a huge movie buff, so like I watch all of these movies and I develop all of these like crushes on all these actors. I see them walking around, moving, their facial expressions. I'm like, oh my god, they're so cute. You become invested with them.
Okay.
And then you watch their interviews, et cetera, et cetera. I feel like public figures, you have an idea if you like this person and you're sexually attracted to them or not.
Right.
Whereas like someone who isn't, you don't know. And I'm the kind of person where it kind of has to live in my head for a little bit for me to reach out.
You're really making me think I should like dream bigger, because I watch movies and it never like creeps into my head like maybe I could fuck Selma Hayek. I don't know. Maybe I could. That's cool. That's true. You might not realize, but you're putting on a clinic of being a privileged, attractive woman right there. Your life experience is not like a lot of other people watching this.
I agree. I agree.
For sure. But in terms of having a social life in Portland, though, what's that look like for you? Because I was just hanging out with a couple girls from Portland, and we were talking about the strip club bar scene and shit, which I've actually been around a little bit, and it's ridiculous. It's like a crazy ass place. But did you feel like you kind of found your niche?
So I haven't done a lot with the city. I moved to Portland right before COVID hit, so everything changed. I think all the cool shit and the nice places really shut down.
Right.
But I didn't move up there for city anyway. I've always been kind of introverted and a homebody, so it was more just the nature. And I haven't like really made too many friends other than people that like I work with or help me out there, like my personal trainer. And I can't cook, so I have a private chef, and like those are my friends.
Did you used to feel like it was a lot easier to socialize and meet people before you had this level of notoriety?
No, it's much easier now.
Oh, okay.
Much easier.
You just DM Ryan Reynolds and then boom, you're in there.
Oh, he's married.
Just a guess. She knows all the stuff, every actor's marital status.
If he was single, yes, I'd be trying.
For sure. Okay. This is a conversation, though, that me and my girl were having about you. Is like there's clearly something about you that brings people in, that people really like about you. Not just your looks, your personality as well, I think. Like, how do you think about that? What do you think it is that has made you such a big star in this adult world?
So I only feel like in the last maybe 4 or 5 years, I've really started showcasing my personality. Beforehand, it was mainly just like a very overly sexualized version of me before like the real social media boom.
Right.
I think I have a big personality.
You do, for sure, yeah.
Originally, though, with the adult industry and the sex work, I was a big slut, and I wasn't thinking business-wise at all. I was literally just there for a good time, and I was loving every minute of it.
Right.
So I think that that's what people really like noticed and resonated with was, hey, this is real. This girl's really turned on. She's really passionate.
Really.
And then as far as social media, I think now because people have been watching me, it's a very intimate thing to, have like a favorite porn star and to watch that kind of a content and that relationship.
And to be a porn star with 10 million followers is a very different thing than being just a porn star. Like clearly, I don't think any porn star really is getting 10 million followers from just their looks.
Yes.
There has to be an element of people liking them.
Yeah, agreed. So I also think when I really started showcasing my personality, I think people find me endearing.
Yeah.
I think I'm endearing.
For sure. I think a lot of people at home are probably commenting, she is very endearing.
Yeah, and surprised by it. And so, yeah, I think that's why I've had success with social media.
It's kind of impressive, though, too, because you don't really shoot traditional content anymore the past few years, right?
Most of it's amateur. I haven't shot for a company other than Playboy, but that's not porn
right.
for a couple of years.
But that's interesting because in prior times in porn history, that would basically like eliminate you from being popular or growing, right? And now it seems like it's shooting mainstream stuff is very optional, right?
Yeah, it's more important to me to get all of my mainstream content than it is for me to get my non-safe for work content.
Right.
It's more important to me.
Really?
Yeah.
Wait, you're saying because
I feel like it's how I market myself, and then I feel like people are just gonna find their way to my non-safe for work content,
right?
You know, on their own. I don't even have to promote it too much.
It's pretty crazy. Like even somebody like Lana Rhoades she's like still the biggest porn star,
and she hasn't shot for years.
She like talks shit about it, basically like doesn't really want to be associated with a lot of the stuff that she previously did. But still, somehow, like the more famous she gets, that just makes the
exactly.
But what was a shame for her is that she doesn't own any of that content.
Yeah, but they're still like going around to her other things. She's making money. She's fine.
It'll still help her in the long run. But it's like I don't know. Like when I think about girls who actually start their own production companies and own their content, I mean that's got to feel so liberating in a way.
That is the way to go. I'm still interested in like I wouldn't say I'm fully retired. I would shoot for companies, but it would really have to be something that works for me,
right,
and worth my time.
Yeah, but does anything stand out as being actually that attractive?
I mean, if I'm being honest, I do miss shooting for companies. Like every once in a while, it wouldn't be like before. Before it was like maybe 10 scenes at least a month, and I was always staying busy. If I did like a scene every few months and it was like a big production and I had a lot of control over everything, it'd be something I'd be interested in.
But your success has really made you kind of lazy, huh?
Yeah. As far as that goes, yeah.
Well, because I mean, when you really are like dreaming about having 20 grand in the bank or whatever that number is, then it's kind of easy to get you to go shoot porn because you're trying to just get your money up to a certain point. Once you get to a certain point, it's like, well, no matter how much you pay me, it's not really going to change how I feel about my situation.
I'm not lazy with everything else, though. Like, I keep up on my Instagram, my Twitch, my TikTok. Like, I'm on all of those, obviously, OnlyFans. Like, all of that I keep up on. But as far as, like, sitting down and shooting full-blown scenes, no, I'm a little bit on the lazy side.
Knowing what you now know about the game and everything, would you have come into the game differently? Like, if you rewind the clock, say you're, like, 21 right now, you know that you're capable of what you have already accomplished.
Yeah.
You're getting into the adult game. What would you do? Like how would you approach things if you got to start your career from scratch right now?
I don't know. I would love to say I'd change a lot of things, but then also that just might not work. It might have just happened how it was supposed to happen, you know?
That's true. What about this castle?
Oh, God.
I heard you bought a castle.
I did buy a castle.
How does one buy a castle? What has to go on in your brain before you buy a castle?
It was my dream home. I saw it on Zillow like a year before, and I was like, this is my dream home someday. And then a year later, I realized, hey, this is an actual possibility to get this, and like very, somewhat affordable. And I'm also kind of impulsive and just pulled the trigger.
Really?
I'm impulsive.
Impulsively spending millions of dollars on a castle.
Yeah.
That's tight. Did you like investigate the history of the castle? Do you know about the knights that lived there and the kings and queens? I don't know. Were there kings and queens in Portland? I don't know.
It's not a real castle.
Oh.
It's newer. It was finished in 2016.
First, I'm just imagining it being like a medieval castle.
Yeah. Have you seen it? It's beautiful.
I've seen pictures from inside it.
I do have to say, I'm giving it back.
You're selling it.
I don't want it.
Why?
I'm not going to be in Portland. I don't want a fucking castle.
But you're not trying to rent the castle out?
No, I don't, because it's in Portland. I don't think that it'll be able to cover everything and I'll make my money back. I'd rather just cut my losses and move on.
Yeah.
But I haven't told anyone I'm giving it back yet. But yeah, I'm giving it back.
But that's the problem with owning an insanely expensive house is that there's not that many potential buyers, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's not worth to sell. Like, because especially in Portland, there's only like a handful of people who can afford a multi-million-dollar home.
But I always hear that out here too, where like basketball players or actors will buy a $10 million house and then do all these modifications to make it exactly what they want. And then when it comes to sell it, it's like,
you're never going to make your money back.
Nobody wants the stupid shit that you installed.
Yes. And it's a very unique property, so that makes it even less likely to sell.
Right.
You live and you learn.
Yeah, you live and you learn. Okay. So moving back to LA though, like what do you plan on focusing on? Like what's the stuff that you are actually excited to work on at this point?
I mean, obviously just work. Like I think that this is kind of where everybody is at. So I just want to do a lot of like collaborations, like work with a lot of different photographers, different types of people. I just want to stay very, very busy and meet everybody.
Definitely. I mean, we've really seen the whole game change a lot for girls. Like I look at somebody like you, I look at a Riley Reid, etc., my girl even, who are very early on realizing, or maybe not even realizing, but sort of just getting these opportunities regardless, and seeing that like the mainstream market, the YouTubers, etc., they have a real appetite. They want to know about
100%.
adult stars. They don't necessarily look down upon them with the same scorn that they might have had years ago.
I feel like there's quite a few porn stars who are actually like more in the mainstream light now, like you said. I feel like I'm more mainstream, as I'm like considered a mainstream porn star. So is Lena, like Riley, Lana.
It's just like a different category that you can kind of transcend to at a certain point, where you sort of use that as a way to get like. There's a lot of rappers.
Like we're still doing naughty stuff.
Yeah,
but
there's a lot of rappers who will have a little run, have some popular songs or whatever, but then at a certain point, the music is just not popping anymore. But they're still like famous. They're still on Love and Hip Hop. They're still doing this, and the other thing, and it's not really about the music. They're just a famous person.
Yeah,
and it's kind of like that with a lot of like Riley Reid shoots for herself now. It's like it doesn't really matter, right? She's Riley Reid. It's like you put in all this work. She built a name doing that stuff. But
honestly, and that's why OnlyFans is so popular as well. Like with OnlyFans, I've noticed they don't even, they like the scenes, but they don't even really need that. They just want like an insight into what you're actually doing throughout your day. And I've noticed that the amateur organic stuff is what actually does the best. So yeah, it's. You don't have to have this crazy production to be successful with today's market.
Right. So how serious are you taking the Twitch streaming stuff?
Not that serious.
How often do you do that?
Okay, so for a couple of years I did it all the time, and but I'd say the last year and a half, not very often. I go through serious breaks.
Right.
So right now I'm kind of at a point where I'm only really hopping on if like I really want to play something, or if I want to collaborate with another streamer, or if I have something to do kind of situation. I love Twitch, and I got on it in the first place because I'm a big nerd and I love video games, but it takes up way too much time.
Yeah, that is the problem.
In order to be successful, you really do have to be on there all the time.
What did you feel was motivating you at first? Because it's
the video game.
You can make a little money on there, but it's nothing too crazy unless you get big.
No.
Okay.
It was never the money for me. It was always the video games. Because
You've always been a gamer?
Yeah, and I was playing them anyway, and I was like, why am I not doing this in front of an audience and like building a platform? Even if I'm not making money, I'm still getting exposure, and it's something I'm doing anyway. And so I had not played that many games for a few years in the adult industry because I was so busy all the time. So I kind of looked at it as this is my pass to play all these games that I've been wanting to play.
Right. And what was the fan base like at first on there? Like who was immediately drawn to it, and what was it like by the time that you kind of slowed down?
I still have a similar fan base. They're honestly awesome. I love the Twitch community.
Right.
And obviously not everyone who comes on is nice, but the majority of them really just want to like get to know me as a real person and like watch me play games, and they love all the like little moments and the real moments basically.
Right.
It's a great community.
It is, man. That's the thing that kills me though, is just that I just don't feel like I have the time for it to be like this consistent live streaming presence. And like if you don't have anything going on in your life, like when I think about if I had nothing going on in my life, the idea of like getting to stream 8 hours a day sounds amazing.
No, you don't have to do that. Like you could be live streaming this if you wanted to. Yeah, obviously, you want it on YouTube, and
that's the problem afterwards. On YouTube though, is that if you live stream it, you like don't really make any money during the live streaming, and you remove your ability to re-upload it 7 times to try to get it
True.
monetize.
Never mind.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't go with streaming. You're fine. It's a waste of time.
There's a lot of complications. But we've had crazy shit happen streaming too, where it's like, we never had a nipple pulled out, but it could happen.
I've had like a little nip slip, but I've never been banned on Twitch.
You didn't get banned even with a nip slip?
They didn't ban me. No, it was just like a little sliver. You didn't see much. I deleted everything right away. It was obviously an accident, and they never had an issue with it.
That's good, because you hear about people getting deleted for the craziest little things.
Yeah, no, I behaved on there. I was pretty mild and really just there for the gaming. So
right.
I think that they like me on the platform.
Can I ask you an honest question? Mm-hmm. What's this little bruise right here?
PRP.
What's that?
So PRP is like where they take your blood and then they spin it and then they inject it back into places and it helps to build collagen. So I had it like all injected into my chest and only one of the areas bruised.
Really?
Yeah, and I did it under my eyes too, so I have like a little bruise.
Oh, okay. So in theory, it's supposed to like what, make you more full in that area?
No, just it helps build the collagen. So I'm a side sleeper. So like and I'm a huge into skincare. So like one of my big things is like making sure I don't get any like weird chest wrinkles. I'm like very obsessive over it. So like I do all these fun little things often so that I can still sleep comfortably on my side, but I'm not like aging in this area.
So sleeping on your side is bad?
Yeah, well it is because like you're all like that and creating the wrinkles.
I'm a side
especially
sleeper.
With big boobs. And your face too.
Right.
Yeah, I'm a side sleeper, so I like to curl up like a little baby.
Are you a cuddler?
Uh-huh.
Really?
100%. At least at first. I'm like extremely cuddly at first to where I don't want to be separated, but then after you've been in the relationship for a while, you're just like, get over there.
Yeah, because I always thought of myself as a cuddler, but then the longer we were in the relationship, it's like I will go over to the side of the bed, wrap myself all up in there, kiss her.
Yeah.
Even though she's sleeping, she'll be like, and then I'm kind of like, okay.
At first.
I'd be a little bit more comfortable like a foot away,
yeah,
2
so like
feet away.
At first, like as you're going to bed, you like maybe cuddle for about 3 or 4 minutes, but then you roll over and you get your space kind of situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
at the beginning of the relationship, I'll cuddle all night.
You could fall asleep that way. Mm-hmm. But then, once you've been sleeping for 20 minutes, half hour, I mean, then people start moving. My girls told me that I've smacked her in the face like while sleeping multiple times,
But sometimes, like, have you ever cuddled all night long and like woken up and you've been cuddling all night and you realize that? And it's just this like warm, fuzzy feeling that you get.
Oh, yeah.
It can't happen every night.
But I used to be the kind of guy who would like meet a girl at the bar, bring her home, we'd have sex, and then we would be cuddling.
I was going to say, yeah.
That doesn't sound like something I would do now.
One night stands, I want to cuddle. Like,
right.
If you don't cuddle me, then I'm missing out on so much and I'm probably not interested to come back.
But my problem is that I'd be farting hella loud in my sleep.
Isn't that the worst?
And I would have a brand new girl cuddled up on me, and then I'm just blasting her with farts, and I'm sleeping, so I don't know.
Yeah.
It's not a good feeling.
I mean, everyone does it though. Like, we can't control it when we're sleeping. That's probably one of the most like embarrassing things towards the beginning, like when you start seeing somebody until you're comfortable.
But how would you judge? Say randomly you met a guy tomorrow, you take him home, you sleep with him, he sleeps over, and then while he's sleeping, he's just really violently farting on you.
I wouldn't care. So like in Brazil.
Brazil? Is this where we're going with this?
No, this is a different story. So there was this really, really hot model that I slept with.
I love that you're doing some aspirational fucking. You're out here getting the big dogs, the ones that all the other girls really want to fuck.
I'm
cool.
so picky.
Nice.
So there was this really, really like super sexy hot model that I slept with. And like I slept with him for like a few different times and we'd spend the night together. And he had to come over to my hotel, and the food that like was there was all super, super spicy, and it like really irritated his stomach. So the entire night he had like explosive diarrhea. It was like one of the worst things I've ever heard.
But you're listening to it?
I had to hear everything. It was so fucking bad. And this was like maybe the 3rd time sleeping with him, and it didn't bother me. It was just like, poor guy, but I'll still fuck you tomorrow.
Right. Because that's the question is like, if you really love someone and you're in a relationship, but if you're in a relationship for a long time, you're going to have to hear the person be sick, farting, shitting, throwing up, etc. So, but if you do that on date 1,
not day 1,
it could freak someone out. But if you do it on like date 11, then at a certain point, you got to accept it, right?
Yeah, if it's like an accident or something like that, it's not a big deal. It's really not. It's the only thing I don't like is when they do it on purpose. If someone farts next to me on purpose, I'm so like it's so
like it's funny.
Yeah, it's not funny. It
they
smells.
wave it in your face and shit.
Yeah, I fucking hate that. I hate that so much.
I love the idea that you've had to deal with that.
Yeah, my first husband, he just did not give a fuck, and
Right.
it just smells really bad, and it happens so often if they're comfortable.
Right. That's one thing I like about my girl is that she'll go like walk to the other side of the room and fart all the time.
She's considerate.
Yeah. But if I could still hear it, like you could kind of like go in the other room.
Yeah, if someone
too,
does
right?
it accidentally, that's funny. It's you know, it's when it's on purpose that I get mad.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of the question is how much of a relationship needs to be serious versus like silly, you know?
You need both. You need balance, 100%.
But you can't have like the silliness stop you from having the serious sexy part as well,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah, exactly. That was actually probably one of a big issue in the relationship I was just in, is he was always joking around and being super, super silly, so I can never take him like sexually serious, you know? It's like, but you're not being sexy, you're not flirting, you're like, everything's just a fucking joke.
Wow.
So there just needs to be balance.
It's interesting. Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I mean like that, like the way you act towards someone during sex.
Even before, though, it
So
happens
different.
before. You have to flirt. You have to have that vibe and that chemistry and, like, let them know, hey, I'm into you kind of thing.
Right.
If it's all just a big joke and comes out of nowhere, like, I don't know. Like, I'm not going to be interested.
Right. Like, okay, to put that in perspective, I want to get your perspective on this. The other day I was interviewing Aries Spears. I think somebody said I was saying it wrong in the comments. But comedian, a little bit older guy. I think he's
Wait a
like
minute.
46, 47.
Oh, I don't know.
Hosted
Okay.
the AVN Awards one year. Okay, you don't remember. Super funny guy, but he got booked to host the AVN Awards maybe 3 years ago or some shit like that, 4 years ago. And he told me that he showed up and he was excited. And the first thing that they told him was, you can't joke about the girls that much. Like you can't like really poke fun at them because you got to understand that to a lot of them, this is like their career. They take it very, very serious. If you come in and you're sort of shitting on them, or if it feels that way, they're not going to like it, and it's going to be weird for the whole vibe of the show. And like his point was like, he said that one of the films that was nominated was called Black Loads Matter.
Oh,
and to him,
my God.
it was kind of hard to take that super serious.
That's
It's like, this
hilarious.
is funny.
That's fucking funny.
How am I supposed to act like this isn't funny?
I love that.
But from your perspective, like, how do you think of that? Like,
Oh, that's fucking funny. Like,
Okay.
I think that's ridiculous. And, you know, I get it, and I am in complete agreement that the girls in the industry, 100%, they take it very serious. It is a business, but it's a fun business. You know, you should have a bit of fun with it.
right. Yeah, when I heard that, that is kind of what I thought, too.
You know,
It's like,
I'm not nominated for, like, what is it? Like, what's the craziest thing you can think
like
of?
best double anal.
Yeah. But yeah, I was blowjob queen. It's not like I'm like crying, thank you so much. I've always wanted this. You
Yeah.
know, it's like, fuck yeah, I'm blowjob queen.
Well, you have to have a little bit of a sense of humor about it because, I mean,
Yeah.
this is the same award show that has, like, best tits.
Yeah.
And I remember the first year I went and I was just like, wow.
I've never won best ass. Isn't that weird?
Really?
Yeah, that's like the only one that I feel like I should have, and I feel like I've been robbed.
Who always wins best ass? I don't know.
Alexis Texas has won it a few times.
Okay.
I don't know.
You got a cool one.
I think I have a great ass.
But in the age of the BBL, I mean, do you feel like the stakes of the best ass competition have changed? Because like, can best tits be a girl with fake tits? Like, I feel like it usually isn't.
No, they can, but
Oh.
no, that usually isn't.
usually
You are
not, right?
Yeah, it's like the big natural tits.
It just feels like impossible to judge the two against each other. Like real boobs versus fake boobs,
They're
BBL
completely
versus
different.
real ass.
Yeah,
It's,
they're completely different.
Yeah, how could you ever? If you could sort of like objectively say like, I think that girl's hot and I think this girl isn't, and she has a fake ass and she doesn't, but you couldn't really like, you know, it would be like judging like a Lamborghini versus a fucking really, really nice school bus. And I say I love fake asses, but I'm just they're two different things.
School bus? A fake ass is a school bus?
I don't know.
What? You don't
I'm trying
like
to
fake
invent an
asses.
example right now
This
in
one
my mind.
doesn't like BBLs.
That is not true. Do you like BBLs?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen some great BBLs that I had no idea were even fucking fake.
Really?
And they fucking jiggle real nice too.
Right.
Yeah, I don't care if it's like fake or real. If it feels nice and looks nice, I'm like, yep, I'll get in there.
But I feel like that's like a a subcategory in porn now where it's like you could have a girl, like girls will have surgery but still look kind of normal.
Yeah.
And it's so it's like nobody even gives a shit that they've had surgery.
Yeah,
Like I know girls who have like really big boobs. They're fake. They don't really look fake.
My boobs, and they don't look fake.
Exactly. You don't really get the
huge.
fake boob card as much because they seem soft and they move around.
They're
and
very
shit,
soft
you know?
and they jiggle.
Whereas I met a girl the other day who had like she's skinny, the biggest fucking fake boobs I ever seen. Somebody was telling me she's huge on OnlyFans, and I'm like, that makes sense to me because that is kind of its own category.
Yeah,
you know?
it is. Some people like the fake boob look. Like that's a hot, like I feel like it's kind of a slut look that they like. They're like this little whore.
Yeah.
I think it looks hot, but to play with, I don't like it if they're hard. It's not like I want something that just jiggles.
Yeah, the skin has to be like loose enough around it.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
my girl had the problem at one point where she got her boobs done and then she had lost so much weight that they sort of like just didn't have the right like movement or shape or whatever. But then she has the baby, her boobs stretch out. Now I feel like it could be way better. Like now the boobs like look more normal inside the skin and shit.
Yeah,
you know?
she was saying that she's interested in going bigger because I was like, I want to go smaller. She's like, but I want big boobs like yours. Like, why are you going smaller?
I think it's all about figuring out the science of like what your boob can handle in terms of a bigger implant or a smaller one.
Everyone is going to be different.
Yeah, 100%. Do you like what are you aspiring to do? Like I feel like you've just gotten to this point in life. You have so many different opportunities, but like you've built the big social media following, and then sort of like decided that the Twitch thing wasn't necessarily for you. Like
I'm still doing it, but yeah.
Right, but what's like really driving you at this point, or do you feel like you're just kind of that rich woman who already made so much money that you just don't even know what the fuck to do?
No, honestly, I'm very motivated, and I never think like enough is enough. Like, yeah, I have 10 million followers, I have this, I have that. Like I'm very successful on these things, but it's not successful enough to me because I feel like the sky's the limit. You really can't stop trying and growing in this type of industry. There's never like there's never a point where I'm like, okay, I'm happy with this. Like, I'm satisfied. I'm going to chill and stay here and relax. I'm like, no, we can always keep going.
But I feel like you moving away to the castle was kind of like that. Like, you were kind of like, I could chill. I could relax a little bit.
I did. That
but a relationship
couple
will do
years
that to
ago.
you.
But at the same time, like, I was very interested in shooting, like, a bunch of nature things and like, kind of growing and standing apart in that type of a way.
Right.
Which, if you look at my Instagram, like, it's a lot of waterfalls and, like, snow and trees and hot springs and stuff like that. So it was still like a business decision. That was like a direction that I wanted my page to go.
Right.
But I also wanted it to kind of integrate with the lifestyle that I wanted, which was a bit more like quiet and trying something different.
But so are you dead set on like finding that balance out here? Because that is one thing that's cool about LA is you have the downtown area and the Hollywood, but then you could move 45 minutes up north and you're kind of in like a very natural area.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm trying. That is the balance that I'm trying to find as well. I want to be like near somewhere where I can go hiking, but also close enough to where I can like, go into, I have everything around me. So I think I'm kind of looking at West Hollywood or Hollywood Hills.
Okay. So you haven't fully made the move yet?
No, I'm doing it in January. But I haven't, like when I was in LA, I was in the Valley. I was in Woodland Hills for a lot of it, and then I was in North Hollywood, Toluca Lake. So I've never really like kind of been in the heart of everything.
When you were in Woodland Hills, do you have mad porn neighbors?
Yeah, not mad.
No, but that's like it's like a whole little community out there, right? Isn't that like, or what's the number one area?
A lot of porn. Yeah, there was a lot of porn people in Woodland Hills,
right?
For sure.
Because like I remember back in the day going to some girl's apartment and her just telling me like, this person lives across the hall. This person lives over there. And I'm like, this is like, we're at AVNs right now. You all just live here.
Yeah, they're all there.
That kind of blew my mind.
Yeah.
Damn.
LA, that's where all the porn stars are.
That's for sure. Okay. So this is one thing that I want to bring up that I think is an interesting thought experiment. So it was discussed that perhaps you, my girl, and I were going to film Plug Talk. Might still happen. Do you think this interview would be different if we had already fucked?
No.
And how different? How different do you think you would feel comfortable talking to me if we had already done that?
It wouldn't be different at all.
Really?
No, not at all.
That's almost kind of disappointing. I feel like the dynamic needs to be adjusted a little bit.
I don't give a shit. No, I'm just kidding.
Right.
No, it wouldn't be different at all. Because especially like the fact that you guys are married, you're settled. I wouldn't be coming into it like with any sort of like sexual tension.
Right.
You know, it just wouldn't, like, there's a level of respect there.
Right.
So I would always still keep everything on a very friendly basis. So it wouldn't change the dynamic at all.
Right. Yeah. And I feel like the deeper I get in, because I'm going to be honest with you, a lot of girls in my life, when I was a mere civilian, I would kind of like fuck them and then just completely look at them differently afterwards, in the sense of like, I really don't want anything to do with you once I'm done this, you know?
That's kind of fucked up.
But it's true. But like, you know what I'm talking about.
You know, I do. Like, you got it out of your system. And you're like, yeah, it was great. But, like, would I do it again? No, it's not worth my time.
And when I think about us doing the plug talk scenes or whatever, it's like even the worst ones, which for the most part, they're always pretty good. But even if I had a terrible one, I'm not really like looking at the girl any different. Maybe I don't really want to like keep hanging out with her after. Yeah. But it's not. It doesn't really change.
It's not like we're gonna be friends and like let's go hang out. Yeah. Especially because you're married, you're settled, you have a hot chick, you have a family. Like it's like new girls are fun and everything, but you're not trying to have any sort of relationship with them, even like in a friendly way. Yeah. Am I right?
No, totally. I mean, well, in a friendly way, for sure. We could be friends.
In an acquaintance-friendly way. You're not going out of your way to spend time with them.
Yeah. I think about that a lot, about how all the girls that we work with clearly just view me so differently because of my relationship, you know? Like, I'm a safe place, you know, because they know that they can do this content with me and I'm not going to be texting them or being weird or whatever. And it's like, that's just so fundamentally different than when you have a dude who you know is on the hunt for pussy and you know that he's capable of some weird shit. And you know, it's like, it's just an entirely different category that I sort of get put into at that point.
Well, you're not in a bad place.
No, I'm cool with it for sure. I remember you know, the rapper Ruby Rose?
Yes, I do.
She's super hot. She has an OnlyFans.
She's fucking gorgeous.
When I first met her, or I think it was the first time I met her, and she had like a whole crew of these little hot girls that she's running around with, right? They're all like, you know, 21 or whatever. And they all were so hyped to meet me, and they're taking photos with me and everything. And I'm just like realizing like, I have officially become an old man because these girls love me and they're not thinking about me as like a person who would even consider hitting on them at all, which I was already fully in a relationship, so they're right. Yeah. But that was kind of funny to be like,
I'm safe right now.
I'm really a dad
giving
now.
Off that vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I'm really a dad. That's kind of cool, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. Yeah. I don't want to be there. I want to give off a. Sorry.
You'd be bummed if you had the same thing.
So bummed. I'd be like, because I actually think I like younger guys, so I would be fucking bummed. Really? But I think, because when I was younger, I really liked older men. But now that I'm 29 and I'm more mature, I'm kind of like, ooh, the younger guys are so cute. And I think it's a very similar situation because it balances out with experience.
Right. Yeah. I mean, but okay, give me an example of a time in recent memory where you hooked up with a younger guy. And I'm interested about this dynamic.
Okay, so I've only,
because you've been in this relationship, you probably haven't.
Yeah, I've been looking at a lot of, I've realized that I found a lot of 25-year-olds cute. So 25 was kind of like where I thought my head was at. And then recently I tried something different. That was a 22-year-old. Okay. And I love the 22-year-old. That was so much fun.
But you got to get the right one, right?
You have to have the right one, 100%. It's not like every 22-year-old. I think that they have to have a lot of life experience and be more on the mature and confident side.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because when I was 22, I was not mature. I was not, I might have been confident, but not in the right way.
They don't have to be super mature, obviously. Yeah. They're 22, but like.
But like, I don't know. I mean, okay, here's an honest question. If we had 100 dudes, but let's give them an age too, so that you have like a even way to judge them. Let's say we had 100 dudes. What percentage of those dudes do you think are giving dick good enough that you would be happy with it? On average, what percentage of guys are serving solid dick?
These are just like regular guys, or just like random, just random?
Yeah, because obviously if we're picking it from a porn convention, it's going to be a different percentage. If we pick it from a construction site, it's going to be a different percentage.
Maybe 5%.
5? You think it's that bad?
Yeah, I do.
They need to teach fucking in schools.
I think most,
because these guys need to learn to fuck girls better, I think.
Yeah, I think 5%. Because like I think that the majority of people, I live, and you too, in a bubble where like people have a lot of sex and they're attractive. I don't think that most of the population is like that.
Wow.
5%.
So guys, get to work. What would you say the biggest problem is? Lack of stamina?
What is the biggest problem?
I feel like the biggest problem's got to be them coming too fast.
Yeah, that is a problem. And also lack of stamina. Because, like, sometimes I'll be like, go harder. Like, let's, like, satisfy me. And, you know, like, the model, he couldn't go hard or fast without coming right away. So, like, it's like, I don't want just slow sex and then 5 seconds of hard. Like, I'm used to being pounded,
right.
you know? Like, I don't know. It has to be a right fit.
Yeah. In terms of, like, actual vagina and dick size, or in terms of...
that too, but yeah.
That fit is important.
That fit is, of course, that fit's important. Like,
well, I always think about that when I hear about people who get into relationships, like, you know, arranged marriages and stuff.
I feel so bad for people.
Or people who
like
even
that.
just date for a long time and they don't have sex before.
I know.
I'm sorry. That is not a good strategy in life at all.
No, it's not. Like, you don't know if it's just, you don't know if you're compatible in that way.
Yeah. Ugh. You ever really like a guy and then you actually fuck him and you're just like,
100%.
I can't do this anymore.
100%. Or you, like, really like their personality and you'll fantasize about it and you're like, okay, this is going to be fun. And then, like, when it really comes down to it, you're like, no.
Yeah.
I wasn't feeling it.
Yeah. No, I had a girl back in the day that I actually thought I really liked. And then I started to realize, like, I'm never going to come from having sex with this girl.
Yeah.
Like, it's just, her pussy's too loose. It's not going to happen. We're bad fit.
Yeah.
You
and
know?
honestly, I think, like, a lot of that's genetics too.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, I highly doubt that she was getting rammed out by such big dicks throughout her life that
she just had a loose pussy.
Because we were young too. I was like 22. She was probably about my age. So it was like, it wasn't like she had time to, like, really get her pussy gauged out.
It didn't fit, you know?
No, yeah.
Your bodies didn't fit and mesh with each other.
Although it does kind of make me wonder if she had kids that she didn't tell me about.
I don't think that makes too much of a difference either. Like, obviously, yes, it makes a difference for a short term, but it's a muscle, so it does go back.
I think that...
But you would know.
Well, my girl didn't push a baby out of her vagina.
Oh,
she had a C-section.
Okay.
So I can't, like, compare with her. And maybe it does go back a lot.
I've been told by mothers, they're like, oh, I have such a tight pussy. And I'm like, good for you.
Maybe some of them, but I can definitely say from experience that I've, like, shot content with girls, then they had a baby, I don't see them for 2 years, and then we shoot content again, and it is...
Yeah.
I think a pregnancy will loosen the vagina up way more than, like, a lifetime of huge dicks.
Okay. You know, if I'm being honest, like, that's something I've always been terrified about, because, like, it really does matter. Like, you want to stay tight, and I've had a lot of porn experiences, but the only one that really, really scared me was Mandingo. That was, like, do you know who that is?
Yeah.
That thing was just massive, terrifying. I'm sorry, Mandingo. It's just too big.
So it was too scary.
It was too, well, I did this scene, but I'll never do that again. And even afterwards, like, I felt so uncomfortable with how much I had to stretch out that, like, I went through, like, a bunch of treatments for laser tightening, like, down there.
You can laser tighten your vagina?
You can laser tighten it. And even though I didn't need to, it literally just scared me. And I got so unbelievably tight from that as well. Like, so there's things that you can do.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's interesting, because one thing I'll always tell my girl, like, we'll be shooting a scene with another girl, and, like, one thing I love about my girl, obviously her personality, all that kind of stuff, she loves me.
Yeah.
That pussy's still tight as fuck.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yes, it's
I
genetics.
still feel at home in there, you know, like, I still...
It feels good. It's a good fit.
After all these years, I still, like, if I fuck her, I can easily come every time.
Yeah, you want to get in there.
I've done scenes with her where, like, the other girl just was not as tight.
Yeah.
But it was way easier for me to fuck the shit out of the other girl because of the fact that I wasn't going to come as easily.
Yeah.
And that's a tricky balance where, like, you kind of want to fuck the girl where it feels less good because you're going to be able to shoot longer and better.
Oh, and that's, like, really, like, an honor for your girlfriend. It probably makes her feel, or your wife, it makes her feel comfortable.
She probably thinks I'm lying when I say that.
Like, he wants to fuck me to come, and not because you're being considerate, it's because you really want to.
Yeah, I feel like when you tell a girl how tight her pussy is, she's never going to believe you.
I had done a scene with my ex-husband, and, like, honestly, anytime he would grab somebody else to come, I'd always be insulted.
Really?
Which I shouldn't have been, because it makes sense. It's like a new hot girl, you know? Like, that makes sense, but it'd always be like, meh.
That's interesting that you have the jealousy gene when it comes to that, too.
Everybody does.
Yeah.
It's so normal.
No, I know.
Yeah, it's human nature.
Even being a girl, like you're really kind of subverting biology by even trying this, because the average person, of course, would not want someone to fuck their fucking significant other.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah,
it's not
you're
something
wired
that
to not want that.
Yeah, it's not something we want. It's just something that we're open to, you know. And I can control my jealousy, and I can like rationalize it, but it's still there.
But you don't flip out in the middle of this.
No,
you would say something afterwards.
I'd say something afterwards, but I'm also not a. Or I'm not. What is it? I wouldn't say I'm a cuck, but like I've always gotten turned on by watching my significant other bang other people. So anytime I've had threesomes, it's always been like, oh wow, you know, that's really fucking hot.
Yeah, but do you feel the need to like get in there, or
I feel the need to get in there.
But you can't just watch.
I have watched, and I can watch.
But then you get in there.
As long as I'm sexually attracted, like yeah. But I'd prefer to be in there.
Right.
But yeah, like my first husband, who I'm not attracted to at all anymore. I'm gonna say that, throw that out there. We don't get along.
What
I'm
did
not
he do to
attracted
you?
to
Holy
him.
shit! What did he do?
Sorry, but I used to watch his porn with other girls, and that was like what I would watch to get off.
Wow.
It's like him just enjoying fucking other girls.
Right.
But then, yeah, and then it's really funny because when we would do scenes, I would get jealous. Like, part of me would be like, this is so wrong, but then I'd also be super turned on, like, this is so right.
Yeah, because honestly, sometimes on the days where we shoot Plug Talk, I'll be booked to do like an OnlyFans scene with my girl and another girl, and then 2 episodes in a row of Plug Talk. And by the third nut, I'll be a little nervous sometimes. I'll be like, you know, like I don't know if it's gonna stand up.
I don't know if I have anything left.
You know, like sometimes I'll be feeling like.
Actually, that's insane. Most male performers can only do it once a day.
Really?
Yeah, that's not normal.
I've gotten to a really good groove with it.
Yeah, you should be doing twice a day.
I'll do 2 or 3, no problem, and then go home and fuck my girl again. Yeah, because it always motivates me to want to fuck more later.
Yeah, actually.
I never felt like I was this horny of a person until like the doing porn thing. It's just like I'm so in the groove of it now.
I think that there's something to it that when you're surrounded by other people and you're also attracted to your significant other, but when you're surrounded by other girls, it like raises your testosterone because it's like new, exciting, but then you're also like equating that to Lena at the same time.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, no, because I mean, by the time I get like about to do nut number 3, usually we start the scene with the girls taking each other's clothes off, hooking up or whatever. And by the time they've been doing that for 2-3 minutes, I'm rock hard every time. Like it's no problem. I'm ready to go again. But that's when I feel like I perform the best, is when I've already fucking drained it a couple times.
So you're not nervous?
No, I would never get nervous, I don't think.
Yeah.
Nah, this is my environment. Like, you know, not that we shoot it here, but like it's my environment. You're coming into my place. Like, what the fuck am I gonna be nervous about? You know?
I mean, not performing. I think like not being able to perform because it would be embarrassing, right?
That did happen to me one time.
Yeah. Well, that's it.
But we got past it.
Yeah, it's not that big a deal.
I fucked up because I went and smoked weed in between the.
I can, yeah.
Like a lot. Like I don't know. And normally that doesn't matter, but I got a little too high and I got kind of in my own head.
I can't smoke weed
at all.
Not around other people. I've smoked a lot of weed, but I only do it by myself to like hyper focus on video games or something. And I haven't done it in a really long time.
Really?
Because I do get anxiety and I get social anxiety, so I'm not able to talk to somebody like looking in their eyes. Like I have a very short attention span when I'm high. So someone could be like talking to me, having a nice conversation, or they'll get really serious and I'm thinking about something completely different. And then I come back, I'm like, fuck, what are they saying? Like trying to catch up. And then it gives me anxiety.
Yeah, I could see that. Or like the extreme version of it for me is like in the past when I would do edibles, and like I used to just like do edibles in the crib, like whatever, like sit around, watch YouTube, whatever, and didn't think it was a big deal. And then I would like do those same edibles and go to the bar or the club and be trying to talk to people and socialize.
Nope.
And it was like a fucking nightmare.
Yep.
Like I just could not have any kind of normal conversations with new people. But if I was at home in a comfortable environment with people I already know,
same.
no problem.
Yeah, and I think a big part of it as well is I don't like people seeing me under the influence, like of the head high. It's like I'm talking to them or seeing them and I'm like, oh my God, they know I'm high, I'm acting high, and you kind of get in your own head. Whereas when you're comfortable with someone, it's just like, I'm high, who cares?
Yeah. No, and like even if I had smoked a bunch of weed before this interview, I would have been hella nervous.
Yeah.
But because I didn't smoke. But that's because you're new. So I don't want to be like super high on you. But doing my normal like weekly podcast with the homies, I can be high as I can smoke weed all day before that. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, you're comfortable.
Yeah, it's a little bit different. Okay, what else did I have written down here? Oh yeah, I wanted to ask you, did you bone Tyga? Oh. But were you part of his management thing at some point or something like that?
No, what makes you think I boned Tyga?
I don't know. Maybe it was just the G-Eazy video that I saw you in with him or something. I thought you might have been a part of his agency at one point. No,
I did message him asking if he wanted to shoot with me. And
really?
He said, I don't do that anymore. And I was like, that would break the internet. You know?
Wait, he stopped fucking on camera?
I think, he said he doesn't do it anymore. I hit him up to do it.
That's so interesting.
I know.
Because I
would totally get in there.
Wow, you're a Tyga fan like that?
No, I don't know. I actually don't listen to rap a lot.
Oh, really?
so I'm not. But I heard he has a nice dick, and I think that like it would break the internet. So I'm fucking down.
I've seen his dick.
Yeah.
I don't know if it would break the internet, but it's a pretty good sized dick.
No, I meant me.
Oh, you fucking him specifically?
Yeah.
I mean, his dick's already out there.
Yeah, I know.
I've just had a bunch of girls on here tell me that they were sort of around the Tyga. Oh no,
Kelly
K, the girl that you fucking shoot with all the time. You
like
love her, right?
I love Kelly.
She is a great vibe. Yeah. She's awesome. But she told me all about that, and she told me about how the guys back home in fucking Tennessee or whatever don't really like her because she's got this famous rapper body.
Wait, she has this famous rapper body? What?
No, body hasn't had sex with. Like, she fucked this famous rapper, and you're in Tennessee, and these guys are jealous. They probably hate black people, etc. So they're not feeling that, and that's a whole thing for her.
Fuck them.
How did you become cool with her?
She came over for like a content shoot, and I just kind of gravitated towards her.
Right.
I really like. Obviously, she's super hot. She's super fun. Like, she's a little bit on the crazy side, but a good crazy. And I typically gravitate towards good crazy girls.
Yeah, I like her. She got like really good energy. I think she could blow up.
Yeah.
I mean, she kind of already has.
Yeah, you know she like ran the Super Bowl, right? Like,
we did that whole interview and we didn't talk about it.
What?
Yeah. Well, she's telling us about getting hemorrhoids from MGK fucking her in the ass in Logan Paul's backyard. Yeah. So I kind of forgot about I forgot about the Super Bowl thing.
You're like, that's not important.
that story was so much. I think about it all the time because I had a hemorrhoid recently.
Yeah.
I just kept thinking about her.
Sorry.
I mean, for real. Because she told me that she had one, and I just kept thinking about like, I think I got it from just pushing out a turd.
I've never had a hemorrhoid. And
really?
I've had a lot of anal sex. So I don't know how I've managed, but I don't fucking want one.
Yeah.
Maybe I just eat a lot of fiber.
No, I mean, it'll make you be really careful with your butthole for the rest of your life, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I heard it's pretty traumatizing.
I'm scared to even like push hard taking the shit now because I don't want to fucking aggravate it.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah, I'm there with you. But I'm just careful.
My whole life I was that person who would just push.
No, you
get
can't.
the whole
you don't
thing cleared out. You just want to let out the amount that's right there.
No, you need to relax and take your time.
I feel like this is like a doctor's appointment. I'm telling you about all these things I'm going through.
I have a sty. Like, I have a hemorrhoid. Like, I just want to push really, really hard. By the way, are we gonna fuck on the plug talk soon?
Have I said anything here that would make it less likely that you would work with us?
No, it's fine.
Oh, okay. I feel like we're all human beings. You should. Kelly K told me about her fucking 2-year hemorrhoid ordeal.
2 years?
I still fucked her a bunch of times. Yeah.
2 years?
With my girl dropping soon.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Me and Kelly are going to New York together for New Year's Eve.
What are you gonna do?
We're gonna go see a play. We're gonna go to a party. We're just gonna do a few, we just want to be there for New Year's Eve, basically, and like shoot a vlog. Nice.
Yeah, I'll admit that her pussy was tight enough that was like a round 3 that still didn't last that long.
Around what?
Round 2, round 3, I forget, but like I had a hard time lasting in there. Even on round 2.
I mean, I've had my fingers in there, and it's very nice.
Yeah,
she's
that's
a hot
snapper.
Girl.
Yeah. She loves you drink much? She loves the Trulies.
She does. Me and her together are always like a little drunk.
Okay. Because I never hang out with people who drink anymore. And she totally just like had a Truly on set, just chilling. And she's talking about like being hungover as fuck. And I'm like, damn, you're hungover like that. And she's like, yeah, but it's cool. I'm just going to keep drinking. And she's telling us, oh, I'm not going out tonight. And then I look at her story and she's out drinking that night too. And I'm like, wow. Like, I just don't know people who are that committed to it anymore.
Yeah. I was never a big drinker, but I'd say the last like 2 months I've definitely been a social drinker, and I've been drunk more times than I have in the last 5 years.
Yeah. Being single is definitely a time where you start drinking, and being,
100%.
being in a relationship is a time where you stop drinking.
You settle down. Yeah.
That's why I stopped drinking. It's because I'm in a happy relationship.
Yes.
I just don't really feel like I need
Yes,
it.
exactly.
It's weird how that works, isn't it?
No, it makes sense. You're just in a different place in your life.
Yeah.
But then I also feel like we go through phases, because you can't really say, oh, I'm kind of done with that lifestyle. You know, in 5 to 10 years, you might, pick it back up again.
But you felt like you had reached the apex of your life, and now you were retired to this castle, and you weren't really going to be doing the LA thing.
I'm like, I'm so mature now.
Yeah. But isn't that weird when you get out of that? Like, I mean, the mental turmoil I would have to go through if all of a sudden me and my girl broke up, and I had to like resettle my brain into the process of what it's like to be a single person.
Yeah. Yeah, you would change. Your life would change, your mentality, everything.
It's a whole thing. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm happy to be single, though. I'm happy about it.
Yeah, well, when you can just like DM Iron Man and get him to come dick you down that night, then I mean.
Well, it's not that easy. I do get rejected.
I'm sure that many of the people at home have a
high,
hard time
though.
believing it. Yeah,
really
exactly. You're not just going to the bar.
And I'm not afraid to be rejected. I'm very much like, it's worth a shot.
Right.
You know?
Definitely. Okay, so what do you have planned? You're making this big move to LA. You're gonna be doing different things. Are you trying to like start up more like social content? I could see you with a podcast.
Maybe I'd consider a podcast. Yeah, I think that I know enough people, and it'd be really fun. And I mean, yeah, maybe it's a consideration.
I could see it happening. I think you'd be great at it.
Really?
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Oh, you're gonna cry? Jesus Christ!
Yeah.
I saw you cracking up for a little bit there. I was like, oh no. Okay, so I think that's pretty much everything. I did write down hentai. I don't really feel like I need to get you to re-explain how horny for Japanese cartoons you are.
Yeah. I mean, everyone already knows I am.
I wrote craziest, grossest stories, but I already feel like this interview is kind of like too high level to just do that.
We've been kind of gross.
Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah. But I haven't done the thing of like, tell me about the time somebody pooped on you on set.
I mean,
I just told you about my issues.
Typically me pooping on them.
Yeah.
During anal.
Yeah.
Not that bad. I've never been that bad.
Yeah.
But like shit happens.
Yeah. That's pretty good. Okay. Anybody you want to thank? Anything you want to tell people to go check out?
I mean, yeah, I guess. Oh, I'm really trying to grow my TikTok right now. I'm very much like about TikTok.
How many followers you got on there?
1.5. And actually,
Nice.
I managed to get 1.5 million with my name being banned as a term. So you couldn't look up my account, and I couldn't like direct anybody to it. So they couldn't look up me and Malkova. And I managed to get to 1.5. I've had it fixed in the last couple of weeks.
Oh, really?
But
How'd you get that done?
Huh?
How'd you get that done? I feel like it's almost impossible to get TikTok to do anything.
Oh, I reached out to literally everybody. I exhausted every option I could. Literally everyone knew I met. If I was still having this issue, I'd be like, you know anybody?
Do you, but were you posting anything sexual or no?
No, my name was banned as a term before I even got on the app. I think that what happened was somebody else was posting my pornography, and my name was just kind of, associated with non-safe for work.
That's the biggest challenge that we got to get past, is we got to get Instagram and TikTok to start being nice to porn stars.
Oh, no, especially if we follow the rules.
I know. Riley Reid, boom, gone off TikTok. She had a couple million.
She didn't even do anything.
She was dancing around in a fucking avocado costume, and they got her.
No, hers were nothing. I think that it's because it might be because she's like still full-fledged into performing. I don't know.
But think about how fucked up that is.
Are you worried about your platform?
No.
Or your TikTok? Because it's a little more adult, and so is
The No Jumper TikTok is like, we'll put the clips from the interviews with porn stars here and there, but it's like a small percentage of the overall content, so I wouldn't be too worried about that.
Yeah,
but,
I worry that just one day it's going to be gone. They're going to be like, yeah, we don't want this me and Malkova on our app.
It weirds me out too, because we'll upload, like we had a clip go super viral. This girl Kazumi, she is naked, so we had to blur it out the whole time. She's talking about getting fucked by 50 dudes in a row. And it's like, okay, technically we're following the rules because we blurred it. We edit out the swears.
On TikTok?
Yeah.
You could, with blurring? You could do that with naked?
Well,
What?
you can blur, yeah. Well, we can. I wouldn't try it if I were you.
No way.
We look like a
even when I
media
posted
organization.
today, I'm kind of worried about it. You liked it on my Instagram. I posted that on TikTok. Is that fine?
Was it the one you and Kelly? Or no, it's just you jumping around in the pool or whatever,
Yeah,
right?
singing that song. Hey, you want to fuck?
I mean, honestly, I think I liked it without turning the noise on.
Well, fuck off.
Yeah.
Come on.
No, but
You're no help.
they allow more swearing when it's the audio. Whereas, like, if you are in the video saying "fuck you," that could be a big crime.
I'm in a bikini, but I'm actually in a hot tub.
And my girl told me that you said that was a very important thing.
Yeah, it's just, well, you need to have context to show that skin. So, yeah.
If you're in a bikini in the living room, it's like, okay.
Yeah, exactly.
You look like a
so
slut.
There's so many girls who can do it, but I obviously can't. There needs to be context.
And that's the fucked up thing about TikTok and everything, too, is that, like, the same thing that you could get in trouble for if you were a skinny chick without big ass boobs and a big ass, then
it's also the fact that I'm a porn star and a well-known porn star too.
Yeah. Although like you should never really allude to that on TikTok, right?
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't.
You kind of very vaguely.
I'm very vague. I'm innocent on there for sure.
Yeah.
And I behave.
How do we find the OnlyFans?
Onlyfans.com/me and Malkova.
Just for the people at home, not for me.
I appreciate that.
For sure. I appreciate you shooting this with us, and hopefully more content to come in the future.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. Mia Malkova, No Jumper, coolest podcast in the world. Check us out on YouTube, OnlyFans, Patreon, onlyplugtalk.com if you want to see some real X-rated shit. Like, comment, and subscribe. NoJumper.com if you want to support. Appreciate y'all.
Go follow my Instagram at Mia_Malkova, my TikTok at Mia Malkova, and my OnlyFans. Just go follow it.
That way.
That way.
Bow.